What's up, idols? It's CC Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Can I just say, yeah? Do you see this top and this cardigan combo? Do y'all see this? My boyfriend's mom picked this out. While they were on their trip in Tokyo, she got this for me and Babe brought it back over while he's here visiting me, and I'm so... Get you a boyfriend whose mom got style. Like, I was legitimately going to order something like this from ASOS, but they didn't have my size, so I didn't get it. And I'm glad because now I got it. Anyway, y'all see the title of this video, right? It's about to get crazy. Obviously, she wants to be anonymous for clear reasons. She didn't even want to ask for a fake name. She didn't want anything that could be remotely tied back to her, so let's just call her Jessie. So yeah, this is what happened. Jessie went to Korea for a few months on a holiday. She saved and saved and saved for months so she could live like a queen out there and also hop over, spend some time in Japan. So for this story time, like I said, y'all see the title, the intimate act isn't the main point of this story, but on the Patreon story time I uploaded, it kind of is. The one on Patreon, something happened that's, you know, best not said on YouTube, don't want to risk demonetization, but both of these stories involve raw dog in it. Which is something y'all should never do, but let's just roll the clip. Watching that man. So basically, I did agree to go to his place. In my mind, I was not gonna sleep with him, but I'm writing this email for a reason. I definitely did sleep with him. It was a little creepy though, because I was still laughing at the videos he was showing me, but he was just there, staring at me. I asked if he was okay, and he went on about how I'm so beautiful, stunning, cool, and he really likes spending time with me. You know, all the things every girl wants to hear from a guy they like. He kissed me on the lips for the first time, then my neck, and once he got to my ear, it was over, drowned in saliva. Not only that, but he also seemed eager to eat my... So yeah, that happened. Check out my Patreon, the link is down below in the description. But for this video, Jessie went to Korea, she's ready, few months, about to live out there like a queen, comfortably thriving. But she did not go alone, she did have a friend that came with her, but unfortunately this friend wasn't going to be with her for the whole few months she was out there, but having a friend there for at least part of the journey is everything. So for this story time, it primarily took place in Busan, because for the first half of her trip, she was up in Seoul, Incheon, like more the northern part of the country. And for this part, she wanted to be in like Jeju, Gwangju, Daegu, Busan, the south. And because she was there for so long, she actually did make a lot of friends. And one of the friends she made was like just in bliss about this recent love connection she made from Tinder. She heard he was like this sexy gentleman type, and she was like, I want to find that too. So for the first time on her trip, she decided to download Tinder. I know. Look, y'all don't even gotta tell me. Tinder is the devil. I'm just playing. Some people do actually meet lifelong partners. Like I said, I know at least 3 couples I can think of off the top of my head who are international couples, interracial couples, met and fell in love on Tinder, and now they're married. And she has this friend who just made a real love connection. So she's like, you know what? It is possible. I'm gonna keep fighting the good fight. But like the reason she didn't do it up to this point is because she's heard about all the fuckboys that thrive and multiply on Tinder. But she also didn't think that given her physical appearance as a foreigner, anyone would be interested in her. And that is not true. Now, of course, she did say that a lot of the people who saw her just wanted to smash and they were not subtle about it. Their very first message would be like, FWB, ONS, one night, sexy, sex with me, baby. I only need 30 minutes. And she was like, bro, this is weird. Y'all are strangers. You're not even gonna ask my name first.
You look fly and you look nice.
Date a lot of fly girls. I'm Christine. Better than him.
Christine, I'm right more.
You didn't even ask me.
Oh, sorry. That was my fault.
You want to know my name?
Yeah, that proves
that you don't like me.
I mean, I sucked at, picking up, actually it's our first time.
But Jessie did eventually chat up a nice guy, and he had this thick Satori accent that she was falling for. She didn't even know she liked it or what it was until she went out with her friend and the friend's Tinder boyfriend friend. And because he's a local to the area, he had this Satori accent. She's like, oh my god, like you don't sound like the people I'm used to hearing up in Seoul. What is that? He's like, Satori. And that's when she finally learned what that was. She was third wheeling and she hated the feeling of being the third wheel. But the whole time she saw him being the perfect gentleman to her. He was getting the door for both of them. He paid for both of their meals. He was like patting her on the head and being all cute with her. She's just like, I want that. Even when they crossed the street, he would be like protective of his girl, and she thought that was so cute. She even said the way that he looked at her, she's like, I want to be seen that way. I want somebody to look at me like that. So the only thing that could make her time in Korea better was some romance on top of it, because so far she was loving her time in Korea, but she was lonely. So she decided to put that on her Tinder bio. Something like, I want to find a real Korean man, a nice gentleman, and hope they're not as bad as what I've heard. And shockingly, this actually got her a lot of engagement, and people would send her messages like, we're not all bad, Korean man is best. Let's go on a date, I can show you. And it became pretty clear to her that a lot of them wanted to protect their reputations and their pride was on the line. Protecting my honor as a Hanguk namja. Ow. So yeah, she did entertain a few of these messages, and a few of them even went on to apologize for the boy experiences she's had up to this point. Isn't it funny when they apologize for shitty things that men do and then also go on to do the same shitty things that she was just complaining about? I have a personal story about that. They're like, there's no good guy in club, there's no good guy on Tinder, but it's like, sir, you're telling me this while you're on Tinder right now, so are you outing yourself as a bad guy? But yeah, for the long time OG viewers, this was back in like 2018 that I posted this story time. This guy, we met on Tinder and he had like this love and infatuation with Kendrick Lamar, and that immediately got me interested in him. But like, he told me about this pop-up in Gangnam that had just happened. I was like, wait, a pop-up? Kendrick Lamar? So I just missed it and I was so sad. This story started in 2017 when I still lived in Jeju and I was only coming up to Seoul on the weekends, but it ended when I was living on the mainland because we talked for a few months. He would apologize for all the guys who ghost. He'd apologize for all the fuckboys and people who just want to sleep with you and insist he is not like that. He was like, I feel sorry that you've had this experience so far. He even met my friends. They loved him. Like, we all spent Christmas Eve and Christmas together. Those memories up to that point were fine. They were great. It's what he does later that made me, motherfucker. So basically, there was this one day where my friend's boyfriend got us all sick. And we were all in our guest house just kind of dying, you know, just in bed sick, not wanting to go anywhere. He wanted to come over and give some medicine. And we're like, no, bro, like, this ain't what you want. We're all sick. We're in our deathbeds. Like, we're going to die. And then he felt some type of way because my friend's boyfriend was there with us. They're a couple. And at that point, they've been dating for a while. Me and him, we're not dating. Like we were going on dates, but we were not a couple. So he felt some type of way that he wasn't welcome in our Airbnb. And the very next time I saw him after that, we were at a cafe and he said, like, he wasn't just looking for sex, but even if he was, what would be the problem with that? And I'm like, et tu, Brute? And there was one night where we went out for like dinner and drinks and he like grabbed my boob. Basically, I realized this was not going nowhere. We decided to be just friends, right? Like, that's all it was going to be. He wanted sex. I didn't want to give it. We're going to be just friends. And there was a movie I wanted to see. He said he did not want to see the movie. So I went to see it with a guy who did want to see it. He got mad at me for going to movies with somebody who did want to see it, even though I asked him first and he said no thanks. So that fizzled out. Fine. What's funny is like 3 years later, he swiped on me again on Tinder, but did not remember me. Like, I'm pretty sure he blocked me on Instagram, but then when my profile pops up again on Tinder, he swipes. Cause like, I was a loser. I paid for like the Tinder Plus so I could see who liked me before I liked them or whatever. And I saw that the same exact profile pictures. I was like, is this fool serious? Like, I thought he was trying to be funny. So I messaged him and I was like, hey, long time no see. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, wait, you don't remember me? He's like, we met. I was like, oh, somebody, delete. Removed from the archives forever. Anyway, sorry, that's a little tangent, but I understand the frustration of a guy who's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for what you've been through. We're not all bad. I'm going to show you how we're different. And then to go on and do exactly the same thing. So rant over, back to the story time. By the way, for this story, let's just call him Seungri. I know Seungri means victory, but but what happens in this story is some scummy shit that Seungri would do in real life. So yeah, Jesse and Seungri are having normal conversations at first, talking about movies, favorite foods, favorite colors, where's the best place you vacationed, how do you like Korea so far? Because he said he's trying to figure out where to take her on their first date. She's like, you're asking me out on a date? It's crazy, it's so crazy. But like, she's so excited because, oh my God, I'm finally going on a date in Korea. Like, I've been wanting to do this for the past few weeks. Now this is happening. So for their first date, he decided he wanted to take her to a beautiful restaurant that was on the beach near Gwang. She told me the name of the beach. It's not Haeundae, it's like Gwang or something. You can see the what I call the Black Panther bridge from it. It lights up purple at night. It was the scene in Black Panther. R.I.P. Chadwick. And after that, they were gonna go see a scary movie together because she loves scary movies. So yeah, she couldn't wait. And in the days leading up to their first date, he was consistent. He talked to her the whole time. He was very funny. He was very sweet. He was a perfect gentleman. He asked her all the right stuff. She had a lot to look forward to in meeting this fellow in person for the first time. And you know, he often told her how pretty she was. He said he didn't understand, like, how is it possible for her to be single looking the way she looking. She's telling all her friends about him. Like, she cannot wait to make this happen in real life. It is funny though, because when they met in person, he wasn't quite the way he presented himself to appear on Tinder. He lied about his height for one. And she could tell his pictures were definitely a bit edited, you know, a little bit of Snow there. Snow is like it was like a popular face editing app. I don't know what people use these days, but it looked like that. Like, he looked a little blurry. Yeah, she was really disappointed that he lied about his height, which I don't get. I guess you could say it's like when women lie about our weight, but here's the difference with that. Weight actually does fluctuate. You know, you could be like 1 pound or a half a kilo lighter now than you'll be later in the day. You know, like it actually does fluctuate throughout the day. Height doesn't change like that, you know what I mean? Love him to death, but even my boyfriend lied about his height. He said he was like 5'10". Cap. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
He's like 5'8", and that's fine. The harm in that is like, we can assume that, you know, maybe guys will add a few inches to their height or whatever, or centimeters or whatever, but then it just means that we have to like increase the minimum height requirement because we know they're going to be below that anyway. So say typically if you insist on like a 6'2" guy, that means you're going to look for a guy who it says he's at least 6'4" or 6'5". If your minimum is like 5'9", that means you got to look for a guy who projects himself to be like 5'11" or 6 feet. And it just makes it harder. Personally, I feel like tall guys should be with tall girls. I've never had the appeal of going with like a tall ass dude. I'm 5'4". I don't feel the need to break my neck. It literally just cracked every time I want to look you in the eye. Damn, I literally did just crack my neck. But Jesse was willing to let it slide because he was still his very cheery, polite, funny, sweet, entertaining, chill self. So she didn't say anything for now. They have their dinner and she actually wanted to split the bill, but he insisted, I asked you out. It's my treat. I'm a real gentleman. I'm gonna feed you. I want to make sure you get a good meal tonight. And the same thing for when they went to the movies. So basically their first date ended successfully. They had their first kiss together. They saw a really good movie. They had a nice meal together and they agreed to see each other more in the future. And the date went so well, she even said it's funny how if a guy is like actually cool and nice, his physical appearance doesn't matter as much and you start to see them as being more attractive. And I fully feel that energy. For their next date, he did know that she was like on her second leg of Korea and he wanted to show her some of the local sites, some of the hidden gems that a lot of tourists may not know about. So she was like, oh my God, it's nice to have a local show you around. And at this point on their second date, they're already holding hands, they're kissing, they look like a couple. She kept saying how she appreciated him being so affectionate, so consistent, and so romantic. So it was later on their third date where things escalated and got a little steamy. They decided to spend the day at the beach. Now, unfortunately, Jesse wasn't aware that, you know, what we would call in the West like a traditional two-piece bikini, like I don't know, triangle top, little brief bottoms. She felt really exposed because a lot of people who were swimming were wearing like wetsuits, one pieces. They had like a long sleeve sort of surf suit, and she felt really exposed. So Seungri, out of the kindness of his heart, he took off his shirt and gave it to her to put on because it was loose flowing, wouldn't reveal too much shape and definition. And when she saw him take his shirt off, she was shook because homeboy was ripped and they never talked about like gym life or fitness or anything, so she had no idea that he was so athletic. She said he had biceps, he had abs, he had booty, yada 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 yada. She couldn't hide her reaction to seeing his body. He laughed. He's like, oh, this, you know. And seeing his body was the first time that she thought about like you and me, horizontal. While they were in the water was actually cold, and she said they would like stick together to try and stay warm. They were cuddling, floating together, kissing, all that stuff. And then when they got on the beach to lay in the sun a little bit and dry off and warm up, that's when he said, you trying to come to my house tonight, girl? He hit her with the, you know, the forecast calls for rain later, and I don't know what else we can do, but I don't want our date to end so soon. And you know, if you spend the night, we can just hang out, we can order in, we can watch some movies. And like I said, when Jessie saw his body, she was already thinking about it, so invitation accepted. She knows what going to his place means, and she was actually ready for that. But she did say she wanted to go home and get some of her stuff first. Like she wanted to get a change of clothes, some fresh underwear, some toiletries. He said, oh, don't worry about it, I'll just buy you some new stuff. She's like, no, like chill, I just want to go home, I can get some my makeup, you know, you don't know what this looks like without this. He said, no, it's fine, like my place is nearby, we can just go somewhere real quick. So they went to Olive Young and they went to a spa, I think she said, and they decided, okay, cool, you can just buy me new stuff and I won't go home. It's not that big of a deal, but fine. So when they made their way to his place, she immediately wanted to shower. You know, they were in the ocean, they're sandy, she wants to be clean, and she knows what's probably gonna end up happening later, so she wants to be like smooth and clean, you know. So he asked if they could shower together first. She said she wasn't comfortable with that, and he said, oh, that's fine, I'm so sorry, you go shower, I'll order pizza or something. So they decided to have pizza. One thing while they were out though, you know, like she got a razor, she got some face wash, some like makeup wipes and stuff. She even got some underwear and some clothes, but they didn't get any condoms, so she assumed, oh, we're going to his place, surely he has some there.
That is not correct.
She showers, she's relaxed. He showers, he's relaxed. They have their pizza, they're watching TV, they're cuddled up on the couch, and it actually does start to rain. So she's like, oh shit, I thought he was just bullshitting me. After they ate their pizza, they went on the balcony to drink some wine while they watched the rain, which sounds just vibes. But once the wind started to blow the rain inward, they said, okay, enough of the balcony, and they went to his bedroom. And you know, without risking demonetization, I will do my best to explain what happens next. They were in the middle of, you know, starting to get busy, and Jesse had to say, pause, where's the protection? And he's like, oh, crap. I knew I was forgetting something, but then he was like, wait, do I need? Jessie did say that she is on the pill, so she wasn't worried about pregnancy or anything like that. She's just worried about catching something from this boy that she just met a few days ago. But he's like, oh, you know, I'm so sorry. I must have forgot something, but I don't need it. I can just pull out. She's like, I'm not worried about that. Pulling out won't protect either of us from what each other might have, you know? And he said, oh, in Korea, we don't really have these things. And when he says these things, he's alluding to A to the G to the U to the STD. A to the G to the U to the STD. And you know, I'm not even surprised because I've heard that sentiment, that idea so many times. I've seen story times where girls say like, yeah, this dude tried to tell me he didn't need it because in Korea they don't have this. They have kimchi. It protects them from it. Even the story times we shared on this channel where the girl has to be like, pause, you need to put a raincoat on. They're like, oh, I don't need. She's like, nothing's happening unless you put on a raincoat. And then they reluctantly put on a raincoat because there's good wet and there's bad wet. What am I doing? What kind of analogy is that? Part of the reason she begged to remain anonymous is because she went along with his vibes. She said, okay, you know, whatever. I've never done it unprotected before. The first time I do it unprotected, surely I'll be fine. It's one of those things where it's like, I mean, come on, it'll never happen to me, right? So that night, they had fun together. They enjoyed each other's company and time and some intimacy. They cuddled, sleepover vibes. And they stayed in regular communication for the next few days and weeks. Like she said, he was very consistent. That's one thing she absolutely appreciated about him. But the next time that they were about to get busy, booty don't stop to the beat drop, just keep shaking. She noticed she had some pain during. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? And you know, she was like, okay, that was weird, but she tried not to think too much about it because that happens sometimes, right? But it was like really uncomfortable for her. So another 2 weeks or so goes by and she notices some burning, some itching, and swollen lymph nodes down there. So with these symptoms, she decided to talk to him. Like, are you feeling all right? Like, have you had any burning or itching or swollen? Like, what's your situation? Because I know what I'm going through. I have symptoms. How about you? Like, let's just cut to the chase. Why did he immediately accuse her of giving him something?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Jesse's like, wait, what? Because up to this point, she says she hadn't been with anyone in the last 2 years and she's never not used protection except for with him. And now suddenly these symptoms show up and he think it's her? That don't add up. He immediately said, Korean man doesn't have. It's not possible. If I have burning, it's your fault. She's like, wait, you do? You do have burn? Like, what are you talking about? You're not, what? And he just went back to denying even being capable of carrying A to the G to the U to the STDs because he's Korean. She's like, wait, so what is that you just said about feeling burning? So please, like, just... She realized this was going nowhere. She said, I'm going to see a doctor because you can choose to be in denial, but I'm not going to play when it comes to my body. She did say making the appointment was a little difficult because of the language barrier, but her doctor spoke like nearly fluent English and she was relieved because she could tell her exactly what she was feeling, exactly when it started, and understand exactly what it meant. So unfortunately, at this doctor's appointment, they did confirm that she does have A to the G to the U to the STD, and it's one of the incurable ones. It's not the big HIV, it's not that, it's not life-threatening, but it is a lifelong thing with no cure as of now. So after she found out what she had, she called Seungri and told him what he gave her. But homeboy is still stuck on stupid. He's choosing denial. She reiterated the fact that she has always used protection. And of course, like, they don't protect 100% against these things, but like, think about the timeline of it. She says she hasn't been with anybody in 2 years. She's never done it unprotected. And as soon as she does with him, that's when the symptoms start. Like, the math isn't, it has, like, come on, it has to be him. And he did mention burning, but then tried to gloss over that. Like, what? What are you talking about? I didn't say that. What you mean, you stupid? So after she told him what he gave her, they stopped talking because he didn't want to accept it or believe it. He blamed her. He said, it's you. We don't have this. It's impossible for a Korean man to have this. So they stopped talking. Or so you would think. Months later, like when she's not even in Korea anymore, she gets a text from him apologizing. He said he finally went to a doctor because he started to feel pains even in like his lower abdomen and felt like something was getting worse. So he finally went to the doctor and they confirmed that he does have what she said he had. He says he did not know he had anything. He still doesn't understand how it happened. But again, the fact that he doesn't keep protection on standby and he seemed shocked. Oh, do I need this? Like, has he never used one before? He has this mindset that because he's a Korean guy, it's impossible anyway. So, gee, I wonder. And I'm sorry, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. As you can imagine, she's embarrassed by this whole ordeal, and I am very surprised, pleasantly surprised, and grateful though that she took the time to write in about this, because who can explain, like, who wants to write about a time that I got in, you know, like, thank you. People need to know this. Like, this is out here lurking in the shadows. Like, a lot of people want to pretend like it doesn't exist. They get caught up in the moment and they're like, oh, what are the odds of me actually suffering from this, or there are actual repercussions, you know? She says she wants people to know that just like everywhere else in the world, these A to the G to the U to the STDs exist everywhere. Don't let somebody tell you I'm allergic to protection, I don't need it, I'll pull out, it's fine. Wear it, use it all the time. It's the same with pregnancy, you know, it only takes one time to get pregnant. It only takes one time to catch something. So yeah, it's manageable with her medication and everything when things appear, when symptoms. She didn't tell me what she has, but I think I know. I don't want to speculate, but I think y'all kind of might know too. And again, girl, I am so grateful. Like I've done a few videos on my channel about what happens when you get pregnant in Korea. And you know, those story times always started with the girl saying we were caught up in the moment and we didn't use a raincoat. But now we finally get to hear about what happens when you're caught up in a moment, you don't use a raincoat. It doesn't end with a child, but it ends with something else consequential and life-changing. So yeah, guys, if you want to hear more story times like this, because we've covered so many on my channel at this point, so many foreigner dating in Korea story times, some that end with happy love and bliss and romance and marriage, some that ends with lesson learned, he's a fuckboy, don't need him, then please check out the videos about to pop up on the end screen. Thank you so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong!